Start broadcast. Yes.
And notice I've got my character picture in Roll20, unlike the others, Louis.
I don't know how to do it.
There we go. According to this, we are live.
Hello, everyone.
Let's frighten them off.
It's thrown me. Right, yeah. I just typed it in. Session 12 of the Priestess and the Silver Cave. And the characters are... okay, so... Actually, I'm going to say, is there anybody that would like to do a quick recap of last session?
I can if no one remembers.
I remember some of it, but not enough.
Yeah, neither.
Yeah, I'm on that list.
Go on then, Doug.
Okay, so we found ourselves looking at a dilapidated bridge across the river. And on the other side was a stone door. Even from this distance, we still saw the symbol of Khossus V in it. So some of the characters ventured across, and with a bit of and ahhing, managed to force their way in. On their way in, they were presented by a room with two entrances, one to the north and one to the northeast, one to the southeast. Myself and Baldur went to the southeast, while the rest went to the northeast. To the southeast, we found a room that had an overhang leading over the river that looked like it could have been some sort of latrine or storage area, for it was cooler here, and whatever was in the room was fairly decorated, a bit more brightly than the previous temple we'd seen, so a bit more preserved. The rest of the group came down, and we found pots of various bits and pieces, and we managed to find some stone lanterns with some oil to give us a better form of light. From that point, we went into the Great Hall to the north, and again saw pictures of various representations of Khossus V, from his war to his family to harvest, that sort of stuff, with 3 doors leading out. Myself and Charlie. What's Charlie's name again? I've forgotten. Actium. We took the southeast entrance. Baldur decided he was going straight to the north. And Aladai went with Kaja to the northeast doors. Lo and behold, Actian Aladai's corridor led to where myself and Actian was, and Baldur's 2 led round in a big archway with various rooms, single-man rooms they appeared to be, with a small hole in the back, which we turned out to be blocked, but were actually designed to let light in. Myself and Action took a different path, and we ended up finding a support in a room that had 3 representations of Khossus V, with nothing to the north. We tried searching to see if that was a clue to any sort of hidden area, but we didn't find anything. The rest of the group then joined us and headed to the east, where a corridor led to more of these simple rooms, then eroded into, effectively the river had eroded part of the wall, so there was nowhere to go any further. Therefore, we saw a way to the south, crossing, I think it was another small bridge. As we crossed, we entered a room with a huge representation of Khossus V that wasn't actually a floor mountain or a roof support of any time. This was a freestanding statue with what appeared to be a representation of a statue snake wrapped around the idol. So Kaja and Actian moved in. Genghis, being a bit more astute and alert, really paid close attention and noticed that the snake was starting to move. Dropped his torch that alerted everyone to the fact that it was alive, stuck an arrow in it, and a huge battle began with a few people getting shocked. But the damage was done initially. The huge mama snake was butchered fairly fast, followed by the 4 babies thereafter, with no one suffering any ill effects from that event. And that was effectively the point. I think we called it a day.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. That was an extremely good recap, thank you. So yeah, you guys stand amidst the bodies of several gigantic snakes and one vast serpent of epic size. Proportion, that's the word I was looking for, thank you.
Have they stayed as snakes, or have they turned back to stone, or are they?
No. They were definitely snakes.
I think they were just hibernating, Charlie.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, there is this vast statue of Khossus in the middle of the room, with 3 doors leading off. One to the. I'll take you back to the.
I was going to say, can you put the map back on?
Let's put the map back on. It's that one there should be.
Thank you.
There we go. Right.
Fantastic.
So yeah. So you are stood in this large stone room with friezes on the walls, a big statue of Khossus in the middle, and 3 doorways leading off. Behind you, the chatter and noise from the river as it thrashes down that narrower fork underneath the bridge that you crossed can be heard, and light is streaming in from there.
Looking at the map now,
Can I do an observation test on the freezes? Or can I look at the freezes? You said they were much better than we'd seen before.
more preserved.
More preserved.
More preserved. Yeah, you can wander around with. If you want to wander around with your lamp, if you can pick your lamp back up and try and
I never put it down.
try and work that out.
Chance.
Yeah, I'd like to relight my lamp because I'm willing to bet it probably went out.
Yeah, it's probably not got an awful lot of oil left in it when you dropped it, but it's got like the dregs at the bottom. It will burn for another kind of 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so.
Okay, the other thing I'd like to do is unsheath my stiletto, and I would like to attempt to remove the fang of that huge mama snake. So when I tell this story to children or in town or whatever, I can show them the size of it.
That's what I was planning on doing.
You know
there's,
what?
There's 2 fangs. We can get one each.
There are 2 fangs. Give me.
Well, you can embellish the story by taking the baby snake's fangs. It'd be easier to carry, and you can say you should have seen the size of the mama.
There speaks a man who's gone fishing.
Yeah.
It was this big, I tell you.
There speaks a man who sells stories in the pub. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fine. You can carve out. I mean, the fangs on this snake are huge, really big.
Oh yeah.
The ones on the ones on the 4 small ones are kind of they're a good length, but yeah, it's a big kind of 10-inch long snake fang.
Mother of all snakes' fang is now in my belongings.
Yeah. Allardyce, make me an observation roll.
Uh-oh.
He's asleep.
Ollie?
So, I'm doing that.
No, that's cool.
Everything's just kind of frozen.
At least he's got his dice this time.
I always have my dice. I just hate
You didn't last time.
dice.
You had to go and get them because you forgot your dice.
Oh right, yeah, no, I didn't, did I? No, I do have them.
See, that's why I do the recaps.
No, I did have my
Your
dice.
memory is quite phenomenal.
I'm surprised I remembered that detail, and I didn't have the map to reference either.
That's pretty good going.
Sorry, Lou, you have to remind me because I did hear what you said and now I've forgotten.
Okay, make me an observation roll.
That was the one.
Refuse, be a rebel.
I close my eyes. I observe darkness.
Okay, observation. That is 1 success.
Okay. Yeah, as Genghis and Kaja take these big fangs out, you look at the top of it and go, "There's looks like there might well be venom sacs in the mouths of the snakes. You can see there's a hole in the tip of the snake's fangs."
I think we're going to splash it all over him. We can it.
Okay.
Really
Oh yeah, Aladai would be like, "Oh, careful. That looks like venom."
Ooh.
Kaja, know what venom is?
No, probably not. She'll think for a second, then throw it to the ground, probably recognising eventually after a moment. She's not that stupid, I don't think. I can't actually.
Yeah, I think as a farmer of animals, I know what snakes can do to them, so I'd be alright with what venom is.
Yeah.
Can we envenom our weapons?
You could try. The difficult bit is going to be gathering said venom.
I'm thinking of just ramming a few arrows into the sack.
Will that make you vulnerable, Doug?
Yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't do that. You could get like I don't know, 5 or 6 shots worth in there without too much problem.
It'd probably ruin that sack, but I know they've got 2 sacks. So if Aladai wants to benefit from the other, either try and remove the whole sack or something, then...
I was going to say, would venom have some use in alchemy potentially, Louis?
It's potentially very useful for
Tips your arrows, all sorts.
That's why I was going to ram my arrows into it.
For roguing.
Weapons and yeah.
There are 4 other smaller snakes with smaller sacks.
Oh dear, Charlie, we haven't even done 10 minutes.
Oh no, you're not fighting over 2 sacks. There's 8. 10.
The smaller snakes, if you look at them, are not venomous. But the gigantic ones...
Then they're not of this mother then. They're different snakes. Because all venomous snakes are born venomous.
Yep. Yep.
So she's mummying other snakes.
Maybe they're mocking snakes.
Ah, they're mimics.
Cuckoo snakes.
Yeah, now that you've killed them, they've turned back into chests.
Yes! Is there treasure in them? No, I said I was going to do it. So I am going to envenom some arrows, Louis.
Okay.
Aladai, very carefully try and... I don't know what to do, but try
gather
and
the venom.
Yeah.
So why Aladai's trying to remove one venom sac, I'm just getting arrows and going...
Okay. So Aladai, make me an alchemy roll. And Genghis, make a note you've got. Make a note you've got 6 arrows that are envenomed.
So 6.
Yeah.
I got a 2 and a 1, so that's 4.
Oh. Okay. Right.
Gonna wish I rolled that later, but you know.
Well, it gives you some
Maybe
momentum.
not. Maybe not.
I will give you a couple of momentum for that and say you managed to you manage to gather a good wodge of venom. We'll
Extract is the word I think you're after, Louis.
Yeah.
You've got us all correct in your grammar today.
Yeah, we'll work out exactly what use that might be to you.
Yeah.
Out of session.
Down. Wodge of venom.
Yeah, one gigantic venom sack. And yeah, so Genghis now has 6 arrows that are coated in venom.
Cool.
I knew there was something I meant to open before I did that.
And what I think I'll do, Louis, is try and maybe cut a bit of... In fact, I'm going to try and do a bit of crafting here. I'm going to try and get some snake skin or something and create a partition in my arrow quiver to separate the poisoned arrows from the non-poisoned, so I know quickly which one I'm grabbing.
Make me a craft roll.
Fantastic. I was waiting for something like that. So... how many... How many momentum have we got?
You have 2 in total.
2. Fantastic.
Ollie has 2.
Well, it's pooled momentum.
I'm guessing by this point he's put it in the pool.
He has to go in the pool after his turn.
Yep. So, what I'd like to do then is first look at my... Oh, that's not too bad, actually. 1-9. I'd like to get an extra d20 if that's okay with you.
The guys, yep.
Aladai?
Yep. Poop.
That's a pretty emphatic complication.
You've got an extra 20, alright?
Yeah, that's why there's a complication.
Okay.
I'm blaming Tim for that.
Yeah, may your dice always roll high. They evidently have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'll churn up the skin so it's not usable or something.
I'm going to say that as far as you are concerned at this moment in time, yeah, you've managed to get it in there. That's all right. Don't worry about the complication for the moment. It'll be fine.
It's gonna come up later.
Well, he needs to say what it is now or take the doom.
No, I don't. No, I need to decide what it is now. It's not necessary that you know that.
You've taken the skin. I mean, that's it.
I like the fact that it was on the dice that you spent momentum on that you got the 20.
I know.
You did say you wanted 20.
Yeah. No, we'll be fine. Just
extra 20, and I'll give him a 20.
Yeah.
I thought we were playing the 5th edition again.
And you were wrong.
I know I was.
Oh, your dice did, yeah. Right, okay, so Doug's done that. Right, so sorry. Action was going to
look at walls and freezes.
Go around the freezes. I think you've already done some looking at this. I'll just tell you what you see.
We didn't, but we have now, because as soon as we came in the door, we got the snakes. As soon as we stepped in.
No, you had a pretty good look at the freezes.
Yeah, you and Cage had a look around.
You haven't gone in, but no, it was in this one. I can find you the point in the YouTube video for you to go and watch if you'd like.
You were already in the room.
Only just.
Yeah.
No, you were around by these doors on the east and west.
No, they weren't.
I stepped to the right on the way in, which is
stepped just inside the doors, but you were holding up the lamps, going round and having a look, and you made quite good observation rolls, which is why I told you what was there. But that's fine. So instead of making you roll, because I know you've already made the rolls in the last session, there are images of snakes on the walls. Those are generally, though, they would suggest to you that. So bear with me half a sec.
Doug's got tickets.
Yeah, it looks as though so I'm trying to work out exactly what it does look like. Yeah, so there are a variety of carvings on the walls. There are carvings showing largely Khossus as warrior, as conqueror in here, and there is a possible motif within the carvings that you haven't seen before about him crushing snakes. There's a good chance that you are. As you look around, you kind of get the feeling that there is a degree of oh, come on, what are we talking about? Did I mention I didn't sleep well over the weekend? There's a degree of allegory that linking the snakes with the Stygians, which would make sense given that Khossus was responsible for driving the Stygians out of Koth. So
okay,
there's that. But basically, it's what you really notice is the degree of carvings is the finest that you've seen in any of the halls.
Okay.
And there are three large, very intricately carved doorways leading you out. But there isn't much that doesn't look fairly similar to the carvings you've seen in the rest of the complex.
It's not a story or anything, just pictures of stuff.
It's definitely not a store area.
Okay. No, story.
There's
no story to the
There's
carving.
no, it's more about impressive than about story.
All right.
Do
any of the doors look more interesting than the others? Or do they all look very similar? I think interesting. Does one look more ornate or religious?
Half a sec.
So you're saying this is the first room we've seen with any graphics, to use the term.
The others were all worn away, Doug.
There are, yeah, they probably are it's the room that's got and then there's not a lot of snake motif. There's some snake motif,
yeah,
but not a lot.
So before we look at the doors and stuff, obviously I've paid reverence to Khossus in every room so far when I've encountered a new motif, haven't I?
Yep.
In this example, bearing in mind I've just cut a load of skin off and you've said that I've done what I've needed to achieve and stuff, I'm assuming there's some snake bloodline about?
There's definitely snake bloodline about.
I'm going to place my hand in the blood, place it on the statue of Khossus, and declare the death of the snakes in his honour.
Okay. Nothing notable happens when you do, but yep, it's done.
I feel a bit easy after doing that, though.
Okay. Doorways. The one to the east is much more about. Is definitely about. And sorry, somebody pinged. Show me where you pinged.
On the east door, somebody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the east door. Warrior. Khossus, kind of similar on the doorway to the south. However, the doorway to the west draws your eyes as it is barred on the outside. There is there's a fair-sized stone bar that runs across and is keeping that door sealed.
So it can't open from the inside, or we can't open it from the outside without removing the bar?
You can't. Both. You can't. Anything inside wouldn't be able to open it. Anything outside would have to lift the bar in order to be able to open it.
We'll leave that door to the last then.
Okay.
There you go, Louis. I've just put them up quickly for anyone watching.
Yep.
That doesn't spell swamp.
So the way that everything else seems to have looped back before, I'd be inclined to try the south door first, because if you noticed before, when we first went into the temple, there was a looping pattern that was obstructed, but had we gone the other way, that it would have opened it. So I think we should try the south door first.
Okay.
Lead on, as they say.
Okay.
After killing the snakes.
After you, Cager.
Cager will very happily walk on through.
Okay.
And Genghis is a bit more alert now. We've encountered something living here. Who's to say there isn't any more? So unlike before, where he was quite lax and relaxed in my manner, I'm now going to walk consistently on the outside of my foot now, rolling in to reduce the noise, and with an arrow permanently knocked in my bow, non-poisonous.
Okay.
Venomous, sorry.
Okay, so yeah, you walk up to the door. It's a pair of solid stone. It's a pair of solid stone doors, heavily carved, which open away from you. From what you've seen in here, you're expecting to have to give it a bit of a shove to get it open.
Okay, just at the front.
Yep, sorry, I nodded and I forgot that you couldn't see me. Yes, I will quite happily give it a...
Okay, so Cager gets a shoulder into it and really gives it a good hard shove. And it leads you, as it opens, into again very dark and carved room, smaller than the one you've just come from. There's a set of steps directly opposite, 15 feet wide, leading up onto a dais, which contains a huge stone chair surrounded by what you are guessing, as they reflect in your lamplight, bronze braziers. There are carvings on the walls of the room, set up on where are we on? Yeah, so the ones, the diagonal, the various ones except for the ones at the back of the dais, are split up between the scenes of Khossus as warrior, uniter of tribes, sage, and provider for his people, while immediately in front of you is this huge face of Khossus with the chair sat in front of it.
Bow my head in reverence.
Everything's already still dusty as before, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
There's no snake trails or anything else on the floor?
No.
Oh, okay, just checking.
I'm going to have a look at the brazier, or head up to the brazier. Does it look like there is any oil or anything in it?
Not at the moment, no.
I'm going to tip what's left of the oil in my lamp and light the brazier.
Okay.
That's one lit.
Yep. It flickers into it flickers into life.
Why are you doing that? Genghis, we have our lamps.
I've been paying reverence to Khossus throughout. We are in his temple, we are in his abode. He's a revered now god. If this was his altar, his throne, then if we need to find a lair, maybe he'll show us the way. Has anyone got a bit of oil that I can use for the second brazier?
Alodai still has some, I think. So.
I've still got some myelin.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a lot, Louis. Just enough to light the brazier and set it alight.
There are 4 braziers, one either side of the chair, and 2 behind it, just slightly off to the sides. So
yeah, I'd like all 4.
Okay, you get all 4 lit. The light flickering on the carving on the back wall almost gives you the impression that it brings it to life. It doesn't, but it just the nature of the carving is such that, yeah, that's quite impressive. And looking round to look at the other carvings, they really just stand out. It's a place where you can feel that level of reverence and awe that this must have held, and maybe pick up on some of that yourselves. That's
why I lit the braziers as well. I mean, we haven't looked at the other 2 rooms. But if there was going to be some sort of entrance under his altar towards where something valuable, this is probably a good of places anyway. So I'm gonna really look around the braziers, look around the throne, pay attention to that back frieze as well. Really see if there's anything that gives an indication that there could be something hidden within it.
You're gonna press his nose?
How dare you! Beg for forgiveness, heathen. Tickle his belly button.
Yeah, if I stand there with the back to the actual seat and look back at the other 2 walls either side, do I see anything interesting?
No, you spend a while looking around the room, and there's nothing that stands out in here. You try pushing various bits and working on various stuff, but there's nothing here that's gonna that actually reveals itself as being some kind of secret compartment or passageway to somewhere.
Out of character, I would love to sit in that throne just to pretend I'm Khossus, but there's no way on earth Genghis would do that.
Why not?
No, that's disrespectful. I couldn't.
It wouldn't worry me, I'll say.
No, you can. Fill your boots.
I'll walk up, place my hand on the throne, and add some weight to the seat without sitting on it.
Chink.
Yeah, well, it's better than sitting on it. It's much better than sitting on it.
Yeah, no, there's nothing of note.
That wasn't paching then.
That wasn't paching, no.
Nothing of note. Yeah. Okay. Reading his T-shirt now. Beware of the. He's moved in away now, so I can't read it.
Beware of the smiling dungeon master. It is quite apt, but it is not being worn. Sorry, did I get asked something because you cut out, and I think it was a really bad moment, wasn't it?
No.
Okay, well that's good then.
Are you doing anything in particular? That's the real thing before we leave the room.
No, Alodai's just trying to make sure he doesn't smell burst of venom.
Louis, read roll 20, please.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. There's no immediate effect that you're aware of.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's fairly consistent with everything I've done so far, but...
Glancing slight concern at Genghis, as he appears to be going bonkers, but that's alright.
Consistent is the word.
Well, yes. Out of character, I can appreciate it. In character, you just started stabbing pictures of snakes.
Oh no! There was a whisper to Louis, so.
Ah, I understand. Okay.
So I'm not stabbing snake images. That I sent to Charlie when he was looking at the images of snakes. Okay.
That makes very much more sense now.
Yeah, sweet.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. Do we want to? Because I mean, we've used a bit of oil on these braziers, and I dropped most of mine. Do we want to top up with more oil before we head east, or do we have enough to keep going on? I mean, how much did we take, and how much have we got left?
I think all you did pretty much was fill up. I'm not even sure if you took one. I think you took one each.
Yeah, I think so.
Everyone had one lamp.
Yeah, you've probably still got a good, I don't know, quarter of an hour, 20 minutes of oil left in most of them. Genghis's one is pretty much dry.
Mine's gone. Yeah. I think we should top up before moving on.
Yep.
I think we should go back to the storeroom, Louis. Resupply our lamps, and possibly obtain a replacement vessel or two in order to top up on the go.
Okay. You can definitely find items in the there's more oil there because you found the big jars of it.
Yep.
There are some, if you start digging around, you can find a couple of small jugs, or kind of small, they'd be amorphas, what I've got in my head, but I don't know.
Amphoras, come on.
There we go.
Steins.
I only know that the word I'm looking for I only know from reading Asterix books. I don't think I've ever heard it said.
It's Egyptians, they have amphoras.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably look for another couple of containers while we were in there, because we only looked at a couple, didn't we?
Got some old powder milk tins.
Yeah. There's some that have got kind of old grain in them, but it's rotted down to next to nothing. There are some that are completely dry and empty now, but you know, these things have stood for hundreds and hundreds of years. But the oil is still kind of pretty much untouched, and seems to be okay. So maybe a little thicker than.
Just give it a good stir before we put it in the lamps.
But yeah, so you can fill the lamps from that. You can fill the. Like I say, there's some large jars that have got lids that you can, if you're a little bit careful with, you can probably work out. You know, if one of you's got a backpack, you could probably wedge it in there without being too likely to spill it.
As Baldur's not here, he can carry it.
There we go.
I approve.
Like.
If we have a big problem, we can throw one and then we can light.
Yes!
I know you like fire.
There we go. We've just created.
We'll have to look up the incendiary.
Projectile flame weapons.
Artesian fire or something.
Yeah! I'm sure Aladai appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, so we head back into our main room of Khossus.
Yep. East.
Do we want to close the southern door?
No. Doors? No.
Would be quite tricky to close the southern doors. They were difficult to open.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so we'll leave that as it is, and I think I'll give Keiju a hand this time with the eastern door, seeing how she, wouldn't say struggled, a lady of her physique achieved the goal, but I'd like to reduce the amount of effort she puts in order to open this one.
You'll get a nod and thanks.
Okay.
I'll get an elbow in the ribs then.
This room...
Well, she didn't attack me after I gave her a hug, so we're sort of clicking now.
Well, she didn't, but she did think about it, I think.
I think it was shock. What the fuck? And I was already gone out of range.
Okay. So the doors kind of grind open, and the room that you step into is larger than kind of almost any but the main hall that you've been in. The walls are covered in battles of friezes of the battles of Khossus and his armies. If somebody wants to make me a lore roll.
Ooh, a lore roll.
Oh, horrible.
Okay, and we have a momentum to use as well.
Yeah. Only been 7.
You may be able to reduce the difficulty of the task. I am a 0-8. If anyone,
I'm a 1-9.
Okay, I think
So
we will all assist Aladai.
All of us assist.
Or is this a pure roll for Aladai?
No, go on. I'll let you club together and do it as a joint roll. If you're going to be standing, looking at it, pointing things out to one another.
Yeah,
dice.
we're in together.
Oh, we're definitely in together.
I don't succeed.
I do.
Oh, look at that, Charlie.
Yeah, that's unlikely unless Charlie's got a focus in lore.
I've got a 0-7.
Yeah.
That's still a success.
Okay. Now the question is, Ollie, what did you roll on your dice?
do I roll 2?
You rolled 2.
Do, sir.
I still roll 2.
And you need a success or the other side.
Before you roll, Ollie, you can use your momentum to roll an extra d20 if you want.
I can. I remembered that as I rolled. But it's all good. I got a 3 and a 7.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, blimey.
3 successes.
So, 3 successes. Right. Okay. So, in which case, I'm not going to give you momentum for this, but what I will do is give you all of the information that you can pick up with that roll. So, I'm going to say Baldur is probably the first to identify in one of the friezes Hyperborean barbarians. I mean ancient, but he pulls out certain things about the way they look, having seen them. They're, you know, Hyperboreans north of Samaria, but on the borders you do get Hyperboreans coming through and raiding. He points out Hyperboreans being driven back. You also see Shemish armies being defeated by Khossus and his armies, and this is the point where you definitely spot, and Aladai will pick out certain relevant details, even if none of the rest of you do, of Stygian armies being driven back. With you spot some pyramids in the background during some of them scenes of them being attacked, which look familiar to Aladai, of the pyramids in the deserts of his home and in on the outskirts of some of the cities. This is a room that is and sorry, the other thing that I will mention is there are again bronze braziers dotted around, well, not dotted around but spaced out around, set, you're fairly sure, to light up these in really dramatic ways. If you had all of the braziers burning, the scenes would be really vivid and quite intense. But yeah, the fact that they're not just showing the driving off of the barbarians who came down to the northern parts of Koth, but the fact that this shows the Stygians being driven all the way back into Stygia, back to the deserts with their pyramids and their cities. This is an absolute statement of Khossus's military might.
I think this is the first time Genghis would actually openly smile seeing these. And under his breath, so I'm not saying it's completely silent so no one would hear it, because those around me may hear it. I'll actually say, "Hail, Khossus." Impressed with what I've seen.
Yes.
I mean, we've heard stories of this everyday man who's risen himself above the ranks and been placed into godhood, effectively. And that's almost what Genghis... He doesn't want to be a god, but he wants to make something of himself, to take himself above what he is, and he really... He what's the word?
Idolises, admires.
No, he almost empathises with Khossus and strives not to achieve the same as he has, but follow in his footsteps.
I know what you mean, but there is a word, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. I've been infected by Louis' grammatical blur.
Oh, you were doing so well then for a minute.
But yeah, that's so
a style point.
Yeah, these may hear that for the first time. Everything else has been fairly quiet, but okay. Yeah. And I think I take some of the oil and light braziers.
Okay. And to get all of these lit, it's a big room. It's going to take you at least one of the flasks that you've taken.
Okay. Continue with my character. That's exactly what I do.
Okay.
And in fact, I'd ask the others to help me out to speed the process up.
Are you pouring the oil or lighting the braziers?
If you can pour, I'll light.
That sounds better. I can do that.
Because that's... Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Okay. So you go around and light each of these braziers, and yeah, you then go back and stand near the door, and that not curved wall, but that, you know, it's in front of you and then it curves back.
It's like an OLED TV.
Yeah, yeah. The only 2,000-inch wide TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. The freezes are truly astonishing, and what this would have been like when you'd come across that bridge, seen the massive statue and the grandeur, and had the priests and the slaves there, and then walked into this room, would have been astounding.
Just
are there any holes in the ceiling or anything to let the smoke out from this oil?
I am going to say you probably can't tell. The ceiling is like 15 foot above you. It's still within shadows. Certainly, it's going to take a while to fill up with smoke before you find out that it isn't.
Over the time,
with that many braziers lit, only 15 feet, I'd expect to see the roof.
Well, the thing is that they're spaced out across the wall. You can see the roof, but whether or not you're going to pick out specific details where they're...
Oh, no, I see where you're coming from.
Okay. Is the smoke just the little smoke off the fire, is it just hanging there, or is it wafting around like there's a breeze?
It's probably wafting a little.
We've opened enough doors, haven't we, that there's going to be some sort of breeze blowing through.
You've got the big door behind you.
It's not covering from one corner to the other, so there's a crack somewhere letting the air in, or something.
No. Yeah, okay. There is probably some vague upward movement to the smoke, but exactly where it's coming out of this really tall ceiling is...
That's fine. If you suddenly said it's all blowing one way, I'd know to go and look somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. No, it isn't.
Yep.
And again, similar to the throne room, I think once the braziers are lit, which will actually aid in our investigations due to the increased light. Spend some time trying to look for any sort of hidden passageway or notches or something different that we've seen before.
Yeah, you spend quite a bit of time doing that, but you don't find anything.
Okay, so we need to either find something on the statue of Khossus.
We'll do the other room first.
Or do the west room.
Do the west room.
But we know it's locked off, isn't it? It's barred from the inside.
From the outside.
It's barred from the outside.
We can lift the outside bar off.
I misheard that.
But whatever might be in there can't get out. Is the point.
Okay.
So if Kaja and I go and lift the bar off, if she's happy to.
Yep.
I'm going to position myself
back to the statue, bow out.
Yeah, back to the statue, but with an arrow knocked in between Kaja and Actian.
Probably Baldur with you.
I think I'm going to knock one of my venomed arrows.
I'm not lifting that bar off then. Standing between you and the door.
I'm pretty good with a bow, don't worry.
Oh yeah. I'm going to put my lamp down at my feet, in front of my feet, so I'm going to lift the bar off and walk back. I'm still lamp against the door.
Yeah, place it down, unlike me that just dropped it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys lift this bar off. What's Allardyce doing?
People may or may not have noticed, but Allardyce would have spent most of the time in the room of the battle paintings, staring at the one with the Stygians on it. As everyone's leaves kind of looks at it. It's hard to gauge what he's thinking about it. Whether it's like, Stygians being defeated, what? Okay. No, or if it's more just, oh, that's Stygia, I'm from there. But he spends a lot of time looking at it, but then follows out and doesn't say anything about it, just kind of stands waiting to see what's happening next.
Is it time for a tea break? Before we lift this bar?
It's always time for tea break where Belle's concerned.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. That sounds like an okay spot. We'll take a quick. Probably does need to be a quick break for tea and
tinkle break.
Yeah, jump back on in a minute.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
And I'm back. So, for anyone watching, Louis live streaming it on XSplit, so you can see the rolls as well. And if anyone has any questions on either the rolls, the mechanics, or momentum, or anything new, comment on the YouTube post, and we'll get answers back to you as soon as possible. Hot chocolate.
And you're back in the room. Oh.
I just said a little bit to anyone watching, if they got any questions about any mechanics or anything in particular, put a comment on the YouTube video, and we'll try and get an answer back to you as soon as possible. Once we work out what the actual question means and how to answer it.
Yeah, I'll take that. Go to the G+ group for Conan and ask people for their opinions. So
we're getting better.
Yeah. I need to pack this place out a bit more, but hey.
Yeah. I think we're doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah.
No TPK yet. We're doing well.
But no PK at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we've never had a touchwood PK.
Yeah, my Call of Cthulhu game on last Monday and next Monday, within 2 sessions, we could very, very well end up with. Yeah, there's an outside chance that nobody's going to survive. I've done two characters down and one well on their way. So.
Chance no one's going to survive tomorrow either.
Hey,
depending on what Wayo does.
Oh, good. No, I didn't say I'd detonate the whole thing with everybody in there. Actually, I did.
I know.
I said I might, but...
Well, I was chuffed that I got a TPK in 5th edition after Louis was saying that how hard it is.
It's generally quite difficult.
It depends on the level, I would say.
I'm back.
They were 5th.
Okay, now that's fairly tricky. 1st or 2nd, not that difficult, but yeah, anything above 3rd or 4th is.
I think you probably.
Yeah, 5th level, and I got a TPK. 5 players.
We probably need to get a version of that T-shirt you got behind you, Ollie, and get one for Doug.
Yeah, I feel that maybe more.
What's that?
Never trust the smiling game master.
It's a very, very cool T-shirt.
And then I've got a mug which I've not used that mug. I've used my Skyrim mug, but I've got a mug which says, "If the DM's smiling, it's already too late."
I like that one. Yeah.
I try to use them in tandem when I'm running games, so then if something bad happens, I'm like, I've clearly warned you.
Yeah.
My missus saw a T-shirt. I don't know whether she ordered it or not. And all it says was, "Keep them rolling to keep them on their toes." And I was like, "That's brilliant."
Yeah,
that really is.
That's 1st edition. Right. I think everybody's back. So.
I keep on looking for Simon, but he's not here, is he?
No.
He's carrying the oil.
Louis, I forgot to tell you. That's quite scary. I've got more of those chocolate ginger.
Oh, don't do that to me. We played.
Okay, Louis. Chocolate ginger or lemon fruit biscuits?
Chocolate ginger.
What?
No, seriously, Bell turned up when we last played Peter and Thora's with this big bag of crystallised ginger coated in chocolate. And
so not biscuits then?
No, I was so ill. I must have eaten. Can't have been. Please tell me it wasn't a 500-gram bag. It was.
I think it was a 500-gram bag.
Yeah, I probably did at least 200 grams of that. Oh man, I ate so much chocolate ginger. It was so
but them
nice.
lemon fruit biscuits were good though, weren't they?
They're very nice, but yeah, no, the crystallised ginger wrapped in chocolate is.
What sort of chocolate though?
Dark milk. Dark and milk, and I think there's some white as well.
No, can't stand white horribly. Milk, maybe, but dark.
And then there were some that were plain as well, so plain, just crystallised ginger.
Yeah,
you got me on dark chocolate, Bell, every time.
Yeah, that was good. Right, okay, so
door, breach and clear, go.
Okay.
Thunder flash through the door, kick the doors in, arrow drawn.
Getting this bar shifted is quite the job. You do it, but it's hard, and basically it ends up lying on the floor pretty much at the base of the doors. There are holes in it which you think were probably originally for like wooden handles to go in so that it could be lifted a little more easily, but it was definitely not really designed to be done by kind of 3 or 4 people. But you managed to get it up and kind of over the top and then down, and it leaves the door behind it open to be pushed open.
I bet it makes a bit of a noise when it hits the floor as well.
It wasn't quiet, no. And it echoes beautifully from all of the open, big stone angular rooms behind you.
Aladai, almost cat-like, when a loud noise goes off, would immediately try and dart into some shadow that he can find and potentially realise there isn't one, and then just kind of...
Oh, there's lots of shadow. There is lots and lots of
shadow. In which
shadow.
case Aladai might kind of be there one moment and then bang! Whoop,
as opposed to perched up like this in Cage's arms.
Yeah. I think I'd sort of snigger that if there was any farmers or herders close by, would probably shit themselves.
You would not be wrong. Yeah. So you're going to try and push the door open?
Pick my lamp up and move it first.
Yeah, I've still got an arrow drawn on the gap in the middle of the 2 doors.
Okay.
Probably trying to recover from shifting the bloody bar.
Yeah. I was going to need a bathroom round.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Give me a moment here, guys.
Boom.
Yeah, about 5 minutes later when you got your breath back.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you start moving it, it is noticeably heavier than any of the other doors that you've opened.
It's always a good sign.
But
it's not a good sign.
You can push it in and it opens, and the room behind is an unusual shape.
Sorry, Louis, very quickly, with the weight of the doors and the size of that bar and all that lot, do I get the feeling this was designed to keep something in?
Could well be, yeah.
Because I got my earlier question about the bar.
Yeah.
Was the bar to keep things in or keep them out?
Could be either, but given where it is...
And the fact the bar's on the outside of the door.
Well, the bar on the outside of the
open inwards.
The bar on the outside of the door would, at the very least, mean that it couldn't be opened by, you know, somebody's not going to just sneak in there and open it.
Right.
It's going to, you know, 2 of you just about managed to get the bar open and the door open, and it was not quiet. Nobody is going to manage to sneak to this point and then surreptitiously nudge the door open a crack and slip through. It could be that, or
is the decoration on the door the same as the other 2, or is it decorated differently?
It's pretty much the same. The same thing. It's Warrior Khossus.
Okay, and finally, I don't mean to do this, but I'm just thinking for Genghis. Do the other 2 doors also have the means of barring them from the inside?
No.
Okay. Genghis, with his arrow knocked and probably drawn at this point, would say, beware.
Reach and tiptoe, not reach and clear.
Enter at your peril. So, holding my torch, get my sword out and holding my lamp out in front of me, I shall just edge in enough to see around the corners.
Okay.
I'll see left and right.
Yeah. The room appears to be empty as far as you can see. Immediately opposite the doorway is another large statue of Khossus, with his heel firmly on the head of a huge snake whose body he is holding in his hands.
And plenty of dust?
There's plenty of dust, yeah.
Right.
The hall, glancing round at the walls, is carved with murals of him and his armies. His head is looking down firmly at his feet, which are, like I say, the heels just stood on the head of this snake whose body he's holding on to. Yeah, other than that, the room appears to be empty from where you are.
So what is the round bowl thing opposite the door?
That is the statue of Khossus.
Okay. Nothing special on the ceiling that we can see?
Not that you can see from your one single lamp.
Right. Okay, I'll step in a little bit and wave the others to come on a bit. Make enough room for somebody else to get in.
Okay. As you step into the room with Kaja walking in just behind you, as you move just that fractional little bit further into the room, you notice that there are two doorways, one to the north and one to the south. I don't think I've quite uncovered the one to the north, but you can see where it is.
That's good enough, yeah.
Yeah, just within alcoves. And looking back round, eventually your eyes are going to go to the walls. Again, it's battles with Stygia and yeah, it's battles with this is very specifically a battle with Stygians. And the Kothian forces are likewise stepping on the snakes.
Do they look like the constrictor snakes or the poisonous snakes, or don't they look like either? Really,
it's a bit difficult. It's all a little stylized.
Yeah, it's fine. There might have been an obvious thing they put in there, but there isn't. Right.
Yeah. The snake that the large statue of Khossus is standing on, you kind of, I mean, depends on whether or not you want to really approach the statue to see, but you kind of get the feeling there might be a bit of fang coming out by the mouth.
Not if I can get in the room. The fangs don't poisonous, do they? They've all got fangs.
True.
So I'll step out of the way so a few more players can get in, as nothing seems to have appeared. They're not screaming and shouting and running for our lives. Who's coming in?
Well, if Kaja if Kaja and Action have not been attacked, then I will advance.
Yep.
Okay.
The more who come in, the more light we get.
So with the five of you standing in the room, are you leaving your lamp outside, Genghis, or are you relaxing your bow?
No, I'm not relaxing my bow.
Okay.
I think I'm staying with a party of 4 for now. My lamp will stay with the other Khossus, and I advance drawn.
Okay. So yeah, you guys move into the room. Like I say, there's this large statue of Khossus, obviously killing a snake, and looking down triumphantly on where his heel's crushing its head. There are 2 more doors outside of this room.
Having a close look at the statue, is it a statue of him in full battle armour?
Yeah. This is full on military Khossus.
Okay, I'll have a wander around the north wall, seeing that's the way I was standing anyway, and have a look at the door. Not touch it, but just go and look at it.
Okay. Yeah, there look like they're the same large stone doors as before. Yeah, they're two large stone doors.
Okay. Everyone, a real close look at the statue.
I'll have a real close look at the snake.
Okay. Make me an observation roll. As the two of you said you were looking, so yeah, Charlie and Genghis, make me an observation roll. One of you can lead. Okay. Genghis has led. And
I've got a success. So mine
I've got 3 on my own.
I've got 1. I could re-roll it, but I'm not going to.
Okay, I can give out a little bit of momentum for this.
Woohoo!
Steady.
And one there. The base of the statue. You would swear there is a slight draft coming out from underneath it. It's only slight, but there is a definite draft coming out from underneath it.
I'm going to ask Aladai to investigate.
Yeah, the dust has been pushed back away from it a little.
Oh, yeah, or mine does.
I'm going to sort of hint to Aladai. 2 fingers over to the base of the statue, and I'm not taking my knocked arrow from it, so I'm covering him.
If I move the lamp closer, does it flicker a little bit or wave about?
Yeah, there's a slight waver to it.
Yeah, okay. I'll step back.
Yeah, Aladai would go over, but before he does, Louis, would the artwork on the walls as the battle of the Stygians, does it, to Aladai's knowledge anyway, depict any particular battle he'd have been aware of, or does it seem more just like an artwork?
Okay, so Khossus united the tribes in Koth and kicked out the Stygians. Had invaded all the way into Koth, so he kicked them out and drove them back. So it doesn't. I don't think history is necessarily your strong point, or military history is necessarily your strong point. So I'm going to say it doesn't sound like a very specific instance of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be the battle of there. But yeah, it's definitely designed to look like Stygia. There are palm trees. There is the river. There are pyramids. This is
okay.
You know, it
cool.
may be based on a real battle. You're not quite sure.
Okay, cool. In which case, no, he'd again, others might notice. You might have to say, call him a couple of times to get him to stop kind of staring at the works. But he would go over to the others, into the statue.
So there's definitely a you can see as Actaeon bends down and holds his lamp nearby, you can see the flame just flicker very slightly in the draft from under the statue.
Probably start looking around the statue, still trying to be light on his feet, quite careful. He's still not 100% sure on if this room is safe or not, but looking for some kind of, if there is any kind of way to move the statue, or anything that potentially would, well, yeah, basically to move the statue, if there's any way to get to where the air is coming from.
Okay. You can.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are there any skull marks in the floor where it's been moved before?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of
thing.
Yeah,
that was what I was about to. That was what I was about to say. There are some faint skull marks, and they really are faint, and they're under a good old layer of dust. It looks as if the statue moves back towards the wall, but it's a chunky, heavy-duty statue. It's well more than life size.
If I put my foot on his foot.
No, I think we should check the doors before we consider moving the statue.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll mark that one down for later.
Yeah, cover what we know, and then look into the unknown afterwards.
It might, when we open the other doors, it might open for us. So
maybe.
Yeah.
maybe.
So do you want to carry on North Action?
North
And
is
we'll
a
cover
better
you.
one, I think. We might just go around the back and come back out again. We might not.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to pin myself to the north wall.
Yep.
Trying to get a line of sight beyond Action as he
Okay.
opens it all.
So, yeah,
Colin's told.
Action manages to just about get this door open. And beyond it
Squares.
is a further small room. Again, there is a on the far west wall. There is a carving of Khossus driving a sword through a huge snake. The snake has sorry, hang on. Yeah, so the snake has a head that has a face of a man within its cobra-like hood. So it's a snake as large as the figure of Khossus, and it's, like I say, it's like a hooded cobra type look, but within the where you'd expect the head to be, within the hood itself, there is a large human face, and Khossus is Khossus is pushing the sword through the main body of the snake.
Do we recognise the face?
No, it's noticeably human, but beyond that, who knows? Beyond that, the only other thing is that in the corner of the room, kind of closest to where the statue is, there is a large bronze lever that sticks out of the floor.
Ooh.
Okay.
So
Don't think we should pull it yet.
That seems too easy.
Yeah, I think we should check the south door first.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, go on. Is there anything obvious this lever activates in the room? Or is it just a lever and that's it?
There's just a lever in the floor.
Okay. I'll diagonalise his tickets.
Okay.
To the other room.
The other room is almost a mirror image. Again, on the back wall, there is this picture of this carving of Khossus plunging the snake through the plunging the sword through the body of this snake, and the snake has this human face within its hooded head.
Bronze lever in the corner.
There is a bronze lever in the corner.
I think we need to pull both together, guys.
Pull one and see if anything happens.
Yeah, Kate will go and stand by one.
We're going to pull it and see what happens first. If nothing happens, we go pull the other one as well.
Sure.
Why risk it? Why not just put them both together?
We're splitting the party.
We're going to do that anyway.
Yeah. Put them together.
So, how many
If-
people in
if
each? One
someone-
person in each room, and the other three people out in the.
So I reckon we should use Baldur, and Kay just said she'll do the other one to pull them, and that leaves Action, myself, and Aladai.
In the room.
Shout really
Ready
loudly.
to-
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So I've got bow drawn. Whatever else anyone else is doing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So they both pull together.
Okay.
I've got the lamp on the floor behind me in the main statue room. When we sort it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The levers are tricky to pull. You kind of grab them and they move a little, but they take some heaving. They've been there a long time. But as the two levers go back, it gets to a point, and suddenly there's a grinding noise, and the statue ominously slides back until it's almost touching the wall behind it, and underneath it is a hole in the floor that reveals stairs that go down into the Stygian blackness beneath.
So we'll shout to the two of them to let go of their levers before we approach the hole.
Yep.
And see if the levers
in case it swings back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Okay. Let come rejoin us in.
Okay. Very quickly then, Louis. So we've crossed 2 bridges so far, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And each time we've crossed one of them bridges, we've had to force doors open.
Yep.
You didn't have to force a door open when you crossed the second bridge.
Okay. Is there a means of securing that second door, though? Or is there no door?
There is no door on the southern bridge. There was no door at the far end. There was only a door at the on the east-west bridge, the first one you crossed.
Okay. Would anyone have noticed if there was a means of securing that from the inside?
We haven't. We didn't ask, so and we didn't look specifically because the door was open. So how would we know?
Okay. What about the door to the room we're in now? Is there any way of securing that from the inside?
You could push it closed.
Yep.
It took quite a lot to open it.
Okay, what I'd like to do.
There is a large bronze ring on the back of each of these doors
that we could pull.
So you could probably
to help open it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'd like to do then, Louis, is help. Hopefully, Kajir and Actian and Aladai grab the beam that was holding this door closed.
Yeah.
Drag it into the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Push the doors closed, and then place the beam long ways into the room so that the end is over the middle of the 2 doors.
For what
so
purpose?
instead of being side on, they've actually got to push against the length of the whole beam in order to try and open the doors.
For what purpose? I know it's for what purpose to get the doors shut.
By some
we know
they find the place and they try and trap it.
We know that they're trying to find this place, and they're in the area. They're in the nearby town.
Yeah.
So if we've been followed, I'd like to make it as hard as possible for them to follow us. And if they do smash that door down,
well, no.
We can.
That's a different phone.
If the statue stays back as so far we believe it does, that if they try and bash through that door, that the sound should echo through the corridor, and we should hear the fact that we're being followed, so we get some advance notice.
And if they didn't follow us but just coincidentally get there afterwards, then the door being closed gives us more of an element of surprise.
Correct. Plus the fact that we've not put it side on, but we've put it long ways, means they've actually got to fight against the weight of the door and the length of the entire bar. Which...
Okay.
It's a big bar.
Yeah. Big bar, Stuart.
Yeah.
Yep, no, I have no problem with that at all. Yeah, it's going to take you a while to do it, but you manage to get in, you get the doors closed, you heave the bar back against you, then probably going to need to have a sit down and a...
Yeah. In fact, I'd even say, rather than laying it flat against the floor, is put it up at a slight angle. We lifted it off the support that it was holding the door on, so we should be able to get to one end and push it up against the door.
There's 5 of you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I imagine we've just about got it in place, and then Genghis is like, actually... and we'll
move it back, and then... Yeah, it's you can get it wedged into one of the flagstones and leaning against it. nobody's going to want to stand either side of this incredibly heavy lump of precariously balanced rock. But no. Yeah, it's up there.
But the idea being that if anyone does try to come in and manages to force their way in, that's going to make a hell of a noise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will.
And that's what I want, is I want notice that someone or something is coming from behind, if they come at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know, they might not.
They may not. It may have been all for nothing, as everything so far by Genghis appears to have been so. But I'm covering my bases. I'm a very cautious man.
Okay.
Allardyce would point out, as a kind of recuperating from lifting the beam, that while it is possible that this is just the statue over the darkness, whole thing is potentially just a secret kind of passageway entrance, it could be another measure to keep something in that the big beam on the door was another part of. So we might, well, obviously we're still going to be careful, but there might still potentially be something.
Wise words, Allardyce, wise words. So I think that'd probably take a good hour, that, Louis, to drag it in, rig it up, and recover.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be getting on for... I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's got to be at least kind of midday by the time it's fully gone through everything, found all the rules, found all the rooms, been backwards and forwards and done all of that. So, yeah.
I think it's probably longer than that, wouldn't it be?
I don't know, you started pretty much at dawn, didn't you?
Yeah.
But in that time, we've had to row up a river, clear that first temple bit of its various things.
You've gone downstream, not upstream.
Okay, even so, but we still landed there, cleared that first area completely, then cleared the second area, then the extra tunnel, then the area we're in now.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. Tell me how long you think you've been. I can.
I don't know about anyone else, but I think we're probably at a point where this is probably taking most of the day. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I
don't know if you did you open every one of those little doors?
Yeah, we did.
You did actually, didn't you? Yeah.
We did.
So there's about 27 different rooms that we've fully investigated.
Yeah, no,
some more than others, and corridors, and forced our way through really hard doors, and I think we're getting close to the end of the day, to be honest. But it's your call, Louis. You're GM, mate.
No, that makes sense. I wasn't thinking about going into every small room and having a proper look around. Yeah, no, you're right. So it was probably getting dark as you were shutting this door.
But the good thing about locking this door now is we have lights, and if anyone happens to be in the area, the braziers would have burnt down and they shouldn't see the light that's coming out of this room.
Yeah.
So I think we should rest.
To where we're going, it's dark anyway.
Yeah, but I think we should get a night's rest, regardless of what time it is, and then go down refreshed.
That's probably a good idea.
I am going to ask Cager to go back to the bronze lever and push them back, restoring the statue back to its covered position.
Cage will quite happily do so.
Okay. Yeah, no, that works, and it kind of grinds its way most of the way closed. Unfortunately, it doesn't grind its way all the way closed. There is still a slight gap, but it's only about a foot.
He'll let the light from his lamp in.
If the statue now doesn't completely cover the hole,
yeah,
is it worth us all going into either one of the north or south rooms and then closing the door?
Are we sure that you have to pull both levers to move the statue? Because we could try pulling one lever and see what happens.
Give it a go, Charlie. But
if we
the effort to move it would indicate that one wouldn't give enough.
If we're guiding one and someone goes in the other one while we're asleep, pulls the lever and goes down the bottom, we'll be very upset.
Yeah. Give it a go. Give it a go.
We'll try do the north lever. There you go. We'll pull the north lever.
Okay, you give a really good heave on that north lever, and it doesn't. The statue stays where it is.
Right, we're sleeping in the south room then.
Yep. So yeah, well, obviously the main door to the east is rigged now, and we're gonna go into the south room and close the door behind us.
Are we going in that room and closing it to drown out the snoring? Okay, just snoring.
Give me a tea.
It's the room is a trifle cramped with the 5 of you in there. But yeah, you're going to set a watch or just trust to the fact that nobody's going to manage to get through that door?
I don't think we need to set a watch. We've got a door closed. We've got the main door wedge. The only thing that's coming up, if anything, is through the underneath the statue. And if one of us, I'm happy to do so. I'll sleep against the wall. So anything that comes in is going to nudge me first and wake me up. So I don't think we need a watch. We should get a proper sleep.
As the door hits him in the face.
Yeah. No, if it happens, it happens.
Okay. Yeah, you guys bed down. You have no idea what the time is when you end up waking up, but eventually you kind of figure that you've probably had enough sleep.
Where do I go for a wee?
North room.
North room.
Yeah, just don't let Genghis catch you peeing up against the statue of Khossus.
No. In fact, if you need to go a wee, Action, just piss over the bridge.
He can't.
Open the door then.
Yeah.
Open the door.
Don't tell me you're that old that you can't go a night without your bladder disrupting you.
No, it's the morning when we get up.
Yes, exactly. Oh no, yeah, you're right. I just realised now. Yeah. What we'll do then is we'll move the statue to the open position, and then Action can pee all he likes in the north room.
Or anybody else.
Yeah. Cager, we will grant the south room.
Why, thank you.
Okay. So, with the faint smell of urine mixing with the with the slightly musty air, probably wasn't helped by the five of you bedding in a small room. You return to look down into the black hole underneath the statue and the stairs that lead down.
How wide are the stairs?
The stairs are wide enough to go one abreast.
So human wide.
Yeah.
So do we need a marching order then?
I'll go first.
I'll troll in second. Go
on. So nice.
Okay, so give me this marching order.
Cager. Action.
Genghis.
I'll go at the back so you can put thingamabob.
Baldur. And then Aladai.
Still carrying the oil.
Carrying the oil.
Carrying the oil.
Can I put this down now? My arms are tired. No! But I've been holding it all night. I don't care.
Speak to Simon about it.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm guessing you guys are just heading down into the blackness, making it slightly less black with your lanterns. The stairs kind of go down and then turn and then go down and then turn and then go down and then turn and
I turn the same way every time, like a spiral.
Yeah.
Down,
just going
going down.
And then when you get down to the base, there is another large stone door engraved with the design of a gigantic snake, but with the head of a human in the centre of this hooded area.
It's another hoodie.
Kids nowadays.
Yeah. Real heavy adventure. Good. We're having a new map.
You might be.
Oh, large holes there.
I am a super douche, by the way, Ollie.
So yeah, there is a you're in a passageway, and Kaja is looking at a doorway carved with this this design on it.
He's gonna probably reach out and push the door.
Okay, like most of the others, but not quite as bad as some of the others. You kind of you go to push against it with your shoulder, and it takes a bit of leaning against it to get it to open, but not as much as some of the others have. Beyond it, there is this kind of fairly large space, and as you move your lantern around, oh, blimey, that map's quite large, isn't it?
I've got a zoom button.
When you see a map like that, it just rings combat.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the wavy line. Is that a snake?
It is not. It is not.
It's a radiator.
So, it's not a curtain. Right.
No, it's a radiator.
Okay. Right. So you are coming in from the north,
zoom button.
and there is this tapestry in front of you, really wide, still surprisingly with quite vivid colours. There is
my screen went blank.
So yeah, there is this tapestry with these vivid colours, black pyramids on against deserts and palm trees, huge snakes stand among figures who are evidently prepared for war. The air is dry, almost desiccated. It's like it's sucking the moisture from your mouths, and yeah, you that's the chamber that you step into.
So looking at a tiny little hole at the top.
Yeah, and my bow is still knocked and drawn, and I'm ready for whatever may come.
So
you can see like I say, it's a wide chamber, and then it kind of stretches off away from you.
Yeah.
The
bit lit by lamps is all we can see.
Yeah.
Cage is going to pause for a moment and just listen, just to see if you hear anything.
Unless anybody behind you is making noise, it is quiet as the grave.
I think she hears Genghis fart. I'm nervous, goddammit. Don't judge me.
Does it echo?
Yeah. The fart may not, but the moment that Genghis speaks to try and cover it, it sounds around the room.
Keep listening.
And then gradually returns to silence above the sound of your own breath and your heart beating in your ears.
Using my stealth, can I head along the? Can I head west on the map, along the wall?
You can. Are you putting your lantern down?
Oh, I'm going to stealth with my lantern. Pitch black room. I'm going to hide it behind my body. How's that? In my right arm as I walk along the wall. So I tuck it against my leg.
So there's this huge fuck off shadow of Actian stealthing across the room.
Yeah, I've lit the room. Anybody that can see a black shape against a white wall or whatever colour the wall is.
Yeah, they're going to see a perfect silhouette of you against the stone wall.
Yeah.
Should we forego the stealth check then?
Yeah, go on then.
So let's just have you head west.
I might have thought it was a ghost.
I would follow him.
Okay, Joel, head east in that case.
East.
Okay, so you're both going to go off in opposite directions. Okay, no, I don't mind.
I'm following Actian.
Okay. So.
She'll also have tact and diplomacy at the ready.
Always readily available.
So you don't have your lamp either, then, Bill?
Nope.
So you are stealthing it.
Yes.
Are you leaving your lamp behind?
I was planning to sort of attach it to my belt somehow, hopefully.
Oh.
Balls of fire.
You're turning
your best bet, probably, Bell, would be to place it on the ground there, if you're going to, and then draw.
Yeah, that works.
Or the other one.
Maybe not right underneath the ancient tinder dry tapestry.
Why not? Create some light.
Maybe there then.
Yeah, just.
Okay, so across to her.
Can I make a appraisal check of the tapestry to determine its wealth?
I was going to say, can you get to the edge of it when we get to the corner and look behind it?
Oh, good thinking, Charlie.
While we're still right there, and if we check the bell, wave at her, and make sure there's nothing in the corridor her side, then you can have a look.
Okay. There's nothing as the light kind of peters off as it gets more distant. There's nothing moving. It feels as though nothing has moved here for centuries.
Onrush of skeletons or anything. Go on.
Even snakes can't hibernate that long.
You move out into the open areas and light up the area further south, and it just sort of seems to stretch to the end of your lamplight. Yeah, there is a, like I say, there's a tapestry opposite you. So who was it who was going to end up moving the tapestry to look behind it?
Genghis.
No, Actian.
I'm holding the lamp.
I'm holding a bow.
I'm holding the lamp and the sword.
Baldur's going to pull the tapestry back.
Baldur puts the oil down and pulls the tapestry back. Yep.
Baldur puts his lamp down.
Yep.
No, the oil. The oil. He's holding the oil.
It's all right. He can hold the oil. He can keep track of the oil and still carry a.
Oh. Yeah.
Still carry a bow if he's got it kind of stowed in his pack somehow.
How's he gonna wave this tapestry on the drawing?
So,
very carefully.
What's he doing? Just like sliding a sword or something behind it and just kind of lifting it away from the wall to see if there's anything behind it, kind of
just
thing.
Just carefully try to break it.
Yeah, very carefully.
Touches the tapestry, and as he just moves his sword very gently against it, a chunk of it just collapses onto the ground.
Genghis would dart forward, placing a hand on his shoulder and sort of whispering as quietly, as loudly as possible into his ear, going, "Stop!"
You hear that tiniest whisper you made just seems to boom around the room and echo in your ears.
Yeah.
And I die with hiss.
Snake!
Yeah, likewise, the hissing, just any sound you make in here just sounds unnaturally loud.
Yeah.
So look at what now.
Baldur, leave it. Leave it.
Looking at the exposed patch, is that a wall behind the tapestry?
There is just wall behind the tapestry.
Fine. That's all I want to know.
I mean, you've only seen the first, like, 2 foot of what's behind the
tapestry.
tapestry.
It made a nice thump when it hit the ground, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's enough.
That's enough. So if somebody comes through a door or something or touches it, it'll be a loud thump. And we'll know what it is.
Yeah.
So is Aladai with Kaja? Because at the moment there's me, Actian, and Baldur one side.
Yeah, he may as well be them.
Okay.
We have a choice. Do we want to rejoin them, or do they want to rejoin us, or do we want to stay separated?
I think we should advance, but at a fixed rate.
In 2 parties?
Yeah.
Any noise we'll hear.
So maybe, like, say every 5 seconds take a step, so we're moving down together, covering both corridors at the same time.
Assuming they join together at the bottom.
That's being presumption of us, but I don't want to leave our backs on.
How far are we going down before we turn back? Not knowing how far it is.
Well, let's just see what we see so far.
Can somebody make me a law check for Baldur?
What is his role? What is his law stats?
2d20.
I think he's got a 1-9.
Yeah, 2d20, and maybe use one of you. Alright.
Can he re-roll any of them?
Not on a law roll, I don't think. I'm very doubtful that Baldur's got.
I mean, I'd let him use a fortune, but it'd be wrong for me to send Simon's fortune points without him being here.
No, but you could have spent one of your other things.
You could do.
Yeah, spend one. Good.
Okay, yeah. Well, in which case we'll spend one anyway then.
Yeah, he's got many skills. Law is probably not one of them, but he has got some fake skill in law. So if you spend a fortune, that will work. Okay, what Baldur?
I think that takes him down to 1 because he's already spent 1.
That's a point. He's not on here, so I will make a note of that. Okay, what Baldur is looking around while you're trying to work out what to do, and he remembers. This is where I'm really hoping that I've got this on here, because I definitely did have it on here. Oh, what? I don't think I do. That's really annoying. Give me half a sec, because if not I'll have to send you it. Baldur has a vague memory in his mind of... Nope, I'm going to have to upload the damn thing. It's really annoying.
I was going to say, he's got a vague mind and some memory.
He has a vague memory of a map which he bought drunkenly in a bar one night in Karaja. If you guys can remember that long ago.
Is that when we had the early night and he carried on drinking?
No, this was while you were still in Karaja, I think.
This is way before then.
This was a
this
long
is before I bought my waistcoat and all that. Long way before that.
You guys went out on the town and you described to me a small bar in Karaja. And...
was that when I first had my red wine?
I think it might well have been.
I remember the bar well.
There we go. And he got drunk and bought this treasure map.
He did indeed.
I was chatting up the locals, telling me stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When I stood in the corner.
Leave this. Right. This might take me a minute or two to find said map, but he suddenly remembers that he has it in his backpack.
You didn't think
Aladai was with us then, was he?
Yeah, you met Aladai on the way to Karaja from from where you'd rescued Nefereti.
That's right, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right.
At the Oasis.
Oh, come on, don't do this to me. There we go. Right, Baldur's map. Right, I need to transfer this to the other machine so that I can upload it to
Roll20.
Roll20.
I've forgotten all about that map.
Yeah, well, I suddenly thought, I hope that Simon hasn't forgotten about that map, and then suddenly realised Simon's not here tonight, and this would be the point where that map would come into its own.
Yes.
You know what, I have a horrible feeling that this isn't uploading because everything else... Oh, 8 seconds left. Come on, come on. Allegedly, still 8 seconds left. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why when you're doing your GM prep, you go, oh yeah, I must remember to check that is on...
We'll forgive you. Maybe.
Is on Roll20. Right, okay. Now
So
I just
then-
need to upload this to Roll20.
So the only question on the YouTube video will be about organising your GM maps.
Yeah.
Poor Mr. Louis.
Yeah, we've worked out the 2d20 system, we've worked out momentum and doom and fortune. How do you prep a map, Louis?
Tell you exactly how I prepped this map, because I drew the damn thing from scratch. I was quite pleased with the way I'd done it too. Right.
We should make sure we give you lots of praise and adulation. Well,
Undulation.
adulation. Oh dear.
Was it undulation?
Come on, I've chosen.
What you
the
don't realise, Louis, is we're passing the time for you in disguise.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yep.
remarkably thankful about that, because
It's like Peter Cook and Dudley Moore ad libbing. Yeah, go on, without the jokes.
We'll start putting some country jukebox in.
Not the great session of the YouTube links again.
No,
That was a remarkable session, Belle. I actually heard songs I hadn't heard in so many years.
That's not always a good thing.
It's not. I mean, I'm going to be 40 this year.
I remember it well.
Yeah,
Well, just.
you remember it vaguely. I remember
Yeah.
it well.
You're clearly ancient, Doug.
Now, what does that make Charlie, Belle?
I'm a veteran, a grand veteran. I know, I've been in the race.
Zimmer frame requirements.
I'm a grand veteran, Doug. I'm sorry, I am.
You are. And my old man's got his free bus pass already.
Whee! Yeah, mum's got hers. It's very useful.
This is absolutely not letting me
That's all right.
upload.
So
So
on this map,
what I can do is I can put it in
the black X.
I can put it in a messenger message and send it to the group. It does mean though that it's not going to end up being seen by anybody that's watching, but hey,
You can't upload it. You can't show it on screen.
it
Click on share my screen and then talk.
oh, that's true, I could do that. Let me send
You're
it.
welcome.
Let me send it now via messenger anyway, because that way it's out there.
I've got to
And
find
at some
Facebook.
point, hopefully, it will let me do it. Okay.
And if you click
Like you-
if you click on your video icon, Louis, on the Hangouts, then that'll always stay up for the people to see.
I can also try, this will be fun, in real time, to add a media file direct into the there we go. hopefully this is going to work.
That looks like a witch
Don't
mask.
Don't go there.
Now you've said that, I'm now looking at that completely different, Charlie.
I was wondering about the 2 stars. Is that where the tassels go? Initially.
I wasn't. My first impression was that looks like a witch doctor's mask. And then you blabbed, and I just went, oh my god.
There's about 4 interpretations of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Leaving those to one side, and the state of Charlie's...
a Nazca desert drawing.
The way of the way Charlie's mind works. Right.
You could just reveal the map, Louis, and say that's what it looks like. If it's the same.
Well, that's the map that Baldur has.
You can't show everybody. Yeah.
I can actually. I've just added it direct to the as an overlay on XSplit. So yeah, that is the map that Baldur digs out of his bag.
Okay, so looking at that,
now don't join up.
I recommend we follow Bell to the right.
Okay.
Because whilst I'm not entirely sure, I'm thinking out of character here. X's on a square normally means some form of trap, and there's nothing to the right, so I'd rather go that way.
I'm thinking we're not going to meet up for a long time, so the best thing is we all go together.
Correct.
So it doesn't appear to make any difference as long as we all go together. There's a slightly smaller room on the left.
Did Baldur say... Did they say anything when they sold the map to him, or... any warnings or any...
His vague recollection was that this guy had this ancient map that was obviously to buried treasure, and he'd make a fortune out of it if he went there. And Baldur went, yeah, that looks like a great deal, as he sank his 6th pint, and fished out some gold and thought, yeah, no, it's definitely worth that, because it's to buried treasure, and it'll, you know, and this thing's, and the thing is pretty old. It's on leather. It's a pretty ancient map. It was only the next morning when he woke up that he thought, I have no idea where this frigging place is.
Where the fuck's my gold?
Yeah, I spent the equivalent of a couple of days worth of room and board on this poxy thing, and I have no idea what the hell it is or where it is, just that it's really old. And at various points he's ruminated since digging out of his pack and going, what was I thinking? Is there anything here that maybe, you know, if you hold it up on the moonlight, or there's possibly like a little singed patch where he's tried to see if they can do the kind of heat the lemon juice trick on a leather map, and then just thought, what am I doing? But yeah, and suddenly he thinks, shape of this room's a bit unusual. I've seen this somewhere before.
Yep. Okay, I think we should all go down the east corridor.
Well, I'll point out that unless something's been said, I mean, it wouldn't have to be very loud because it's so echoey, but Cagia and Aladai probably have still been moving because we're on the opposite side this whole time.
Yep.
If we were doing a move one step every 5 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, did you decide that, or did Baldur point out that he got the map before you actually set off?
That was based on the information we had at the time, so I think Baldur would have probably highlighted the fact that this looks familiar, pulled out a map, we would have gone, oh yeah, that looks good.
In which case, never mind.
Looks a little similar to this.
Yeah, so let's all go east, and if the room gives us a little chicane and there's some star thing in a circle, then we know we're on to a winner.
You're not saying, Baldur, you got the map, you lead.
While still carrying the jar of oil.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you make your way down this passageway, and yeah, it's a pretty huge chamber. As you get down towards the bottom, it does indeed do what you expect it to do on the map, and turns off to the off to your left. As you make your way down this chamber, though, there are carved friezes on the walls, which continue to show the armies of Stygia marching across various cities, some with domed towers, others with square towers, very different looking cities. The soldiers are marching in front of what you are guessing are sorcerers, carrying out hideous rites. There are huge snakes towering behind them, and in front of the armies go out these winds and clouds. You know, where people have tried to carve winds or draw the idea of wind. You've got sand being blown up and these kind of disturbingly vaguely shaped creatures built into what is going before the army. Defenders are seen sometimes fighting winged shadows, being dragged down into the ground by what Actaeon takes as tentacles.
It's the flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah. I would like everybody to make a hard discipline test.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's not helping.
Discipline. Ooh. Ooh. What's a hard, Louis?
Sorry, D2, difficulty 2.
So D20 with 2 successes needed.
You need 2 successes on this.
Well, there are 3 points on the board. 3 different people, 3 extra dice in the pool.
Yes. Sorry.
If they need them.
I didn't realise that. I would have rolled another one.
So, who needs them? Everybody, but who needs them?
I mean, I'd gladly re-roll that, Louis, if you want, or just roll an extra one. It's your call.
Try to find what you've rolled.
7-7.
Oh, there we go.
I haven't rolled yet, but I'm trying to decide, should I use a momentum?
Okay, so Doug, I will let you, because you did it without thinking about it. You can grab one of those momentum if you want to add a single dice to that roll.
It makes no difference at all.
Okay.
So that's 1 momentum.
So that's 1 momentum gone.
Which is gutting, because I've got a 312 in that.
I'm just chucking my momentum in to cover it, alright? The one that's on against my person. Right, done that. That's that covered. Right, 2 left. Who's having a momentum?
Do you want one, Cager?
No, I figure Baldur, who had been a little bit unfair to this session. Charlie, you've gone for one, haven't you?
I've just ditched my one, but I haven't used one yet.
You can have my one.
Right, I'll roll for Baldur.
I'll give him my momentum.
And there's his momentum.
That's
so he's made that.
That's a 6. Yeah. That's 2 successes, isn't it? Okay.
2 or 3?
Let me have a look at Baldur and see if he's put anything into discipline.
Because I'm a 2-9.
I'm 312.
It's got a 3. Yeah, no, Baldur's got a 3-10.
So you put a momentum back in the pool.
So yeah, there is
That's
1 momentum back in.
So could I use that momentum?
Yeah, you go for it, Charlie.
And I'll go for it.
What's your momentum like, Ollie? Sorry, not. Like.
I used mine on.
I have just got 3 successes, so I put a momentum back in the pool.
Okay. Hang on. So who used? So
I used the one we just got.
Genghis used 1 momentum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Aladai used 1 for Baldur. Baldur earned 1 back, so we.
And I used that, and I just got 1.
No,
back.
hang on. You said you'd already dropped a momentum, Charlie.
I threw 1 in for the first roll.
Yeah. For some reason, Charlie used my 1. So Aladai used 1 of his for Baldur, who then got a success. So Aladai should have got his back.
Yeah.
Then Charlie used that 1, and he gained an extra 1. So we are actually 1 momentum down at the moment. We need 1 more.
I thought we were.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I've rolled already, so I can't use it now.
And then it's only Aladai left.
Well,
I think
I'll use it then.
Yeah, I think Aladai gets it as well. Because I think you started off with 3. You've won 2 back, which is 5 in total. And 4 of you have done it.
Yeah,
but you had 1 to start with, and Aladai had 1 to start with, and yet Aladai ended up using.
The only one who's lost 1 is me, so we should be on 2.
Well, Genghis used my 1. Aladai used.
So right,
we're there.
Ollie, are you using a momentum?
Yeah.
Okay, so as it stands at the moment, with my 1 momentum, we're correct.
Okay, that's good.
Ollie, what did you get?
6, 7, and 17. So that's 2.
Okay.
So we are correct on momentum.
So Kaja didn't make it.
Genghis didn't.
And Genghis didn't. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So Kaja takes 2 despair, and Genghis takes 1 despair. So despair basically is resolve damage, but it's at the top end, so it doesn't heal back automatically, it stays there. Effectively you have 1 less resolve.
Is that a trauma?
No, you have, it's like taking standard resolve damage, so it's not taking a trauma, it's like taking 1 resolve damage.
Right.
But the resolve damage, normally if you just take resolve damage, as soon as you get a chance to heal, as soon as you get a chance to rest, it comes back. This requires basically like a night's sleep, or to be somewhere safe.
Okay, so.
Or I think possibly a council roll.
-1 resolve. Each treatment.
Not.
That's alright, because my resolve's better than my vigour.
Yeah,
I've actually got 12 resolves. So I'm down to 11 now.
Genghis is 1 despair. Okay. So
was that just from looking at the...
It's from looking at... I mean, the place is, like I say, as silent as the grave. The air is desiccated. Every time you breathe you feel like the noise is bouncing back off the walls, and then you're looking at these carvings of sorcerers leading armies, guys being dragged into the ground, guys fighting winged horrors, which in fact give you a vague recollection of the thing that suddenly arrived in the palace at Karaja and attacked, that you managed to fight off.
Lewis introduced Call of Cthulhu yeah, it's what's the
it's in the system.
What's the roll?
It's the sanity roll.
Yeah, you've introduced insanity to.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's in there.
Oh, it's not roll, but yeah.
We're closer than.
Yeah, Lovecraft and Howard were friends.
Now.
If you go back and you read, I think it's Scarlet Citadel. It's so full of Lovecraft references, it's untrue. But or any of Howard's Cthulhu Mythos stuff that he wrote.
Moving on.
Yeah. So that leads you, like I say, that you get down, and yeah, this does turn exactly where Baldor's map suggests it does. The stones, there is an archway which leads you out, and then a slope that runs down, continues to run down to the south. The stones in the arch doorways are carved again into the story of what looks like Stygia being conquered, but probably by some ancient race.
So am I getting this right, that everything upstairs was declared to Khossus, but down here seems to be
entirely
different
not
pictures?
In fact, if you had to guess, this seems significantly older. It feels very different. The artwork's different in terms of its the detail of the way it's been done.
So it's almost like Khossus has declared his major altar on top of another ancient building. The arrogance of him.
You're liking him more and more as the day goes on. But yeah, the passageway continues down down below you. It continues to slope down.
Cool. What does the star represent?
Okay, as you get to the bottom, you realise what the star does represent.
A hole in the ground.
There is a giant statue of this huge snake with the head of a human, surrounded again with this kind of cobra's hood. It stands well over a man's height in the centre of this chamber. Who was the first person through the door?
Yeah,
Belle.
I was going to say.
I'm not beating around the bush. Belle led the group. She was leading.
Okay, in which case Kaja needs to make another D1 discipline test.
That one's easy, Belle. Do you want my final momentum anyway? Because obviously he said that the despair is semi-permanent, so I'd rather you not take another one.
Yeah, I agree. I've already lost 2, so... Cool,
yeah. There you go. Oof. That should be one.
My discipline is 118.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so Kaja kind of digs deep, annoyed with herself for how shaken she's been feeling walking through the halls and seeing what's on the walls. And as you come into this chamber, yeah, you kind of your immediate thought is probably that it's another one of these. You know, the last time you saw a gigantic statue of a snake, it was it turned out not to be a statue. Your first thought on seeing this is to grip whichever weapon it is you're carrying and prepare for this thing to move, and it takes you a while just to realise that no, it is almost certainly a statue this time.
I'm gonna spit at it.
Yeah, the artwork is exquisite. You can see each individually carved scale on it, but it is a horrific thing born of nightmare. Okay. So there is one doorway out of this room.
One way in, one way out.
Again, so far, seems to match well with the map that
Just heading down again, is it?
And yeah, this just slopes down. It's only a very gentle slope, but it slopes down and ends in a stone doorway and a stone door.
Is there any arch on the door with carvings or anything?
Yes, there is. Yeah, it's very similar to the doorways above. Just the stones around the archway have been carved with snake faces and human faces with fangs.
What I suggest, Louis, is obviously you have already mentioned you had a couple of bad nights' sleep, and we don't have Baldur with us at the moment. We're probably at a good enough point to call it for the night at 20 to 11.
Yeah, I'm good to stop there if that's where people would like to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine.
I think we've abused Baldur enough for one fortnight. I think he comes back and redeems himself.
Somebody else is going to have to carry the damn oil next time.
Well, we can refill our lamps and possibly empty it.
Okay, so yeah, so you're in this still kind of very silent hallway with a door in front of you and this hideous half man, half snake thing statue just around the corner, and yeah, we will call it there. So I will say goodbye to anybody watching in YouTube land. We'll be back in a fortnight.